While the legislature has its hands full with redistricting during the ongoing special session, Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham is looking ahead to next year. On the first of the month, the governor released a proposal to give public educators around the state a 7% pay bump. The governor's office says New Mexico teachers deserve better compensation, and the state is also trying to fill a large number of vacancies left through the pandemic, as you know. And Senator Snyder, is it about money? Is that enough to draw more teachers back into the workforce, or is it something else?
Well, I think it's more than that, but certainly think that is a consideration that teachers look at when they're coming into our state. Or young people, we lose so many to out of state. Maybe our young teachers are going to our neighbors because they all at this moment have higher salaries, beginning salaries. But to me, it's not the only issue. I'm sorry, we have had some of the worst leaders for the state education department, the worst leaders in Albuquerque public schools. And understand, this is all my opinion. But I look at it and I watch it closely and I'm going, why would you want to be a teacher? It sometimes impacting young people's lives gets old and I also think, and this will probably get you calls about me, is I think that our teachers unions have a greater control for our legislature than they deserve. And I think it would be very interesting, and I mentioned this to you earlier, is if we could get a panel of recently retired teachers that couldn't be penalized for anything they say, and just get the real story. It's kind of the way I feel about it, because I feel like everybody we hear from has got a vested interest of some kind about what they're saying.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Tom. You know, teachers have had to endure a whole lot through the pandemic, learning, teaching remotely, risking infection. I got to ask, is this just an obvious move for the governor, given the budget surplus? Shouldn't, teachers get a little something out of this? I mean, they just slogged through an amazing 18 months.
Yeah. I mean, it's good on a couple of levels. And personally, I'm really glad to see this. On one level, yes, I think you need to provide an incentive to have teachers remain engaged during this COVID timeframe. But two, I mean, when you think about it, the last time that teacher pay was actually addressed, it was Senate Bill 212, and I had dark hair. So, it was a long time ago, and it set up a three-tier system, but really that three-tier system has just been ignored for, decades. And so, I am thrilled personally for teachers and the teaching profession. I don't necessarily agree with everything Senator Snyder said about leadership, but, when it comes to supporting teachers in the classroom, I think that's what we're all in favor of. And I think that's what Governor Lujan Grisham actually accomplishes with this kind of proposal out of the PED.
Eric, that range Tom mentioned about those three tiers, we're about 40 to 60,000 based on experience, and a 7% increase would only affect teachers who didn't already receive a bump from the tier increases. So it's really not an across the board kind of thing, but the chairman of the Senate Budget Writing Committee, Democrat George Munoz, says this shouldn't be a problem for lawmakers in the 2022 session, saying we have the money. Is he right?
I didn't agree with Senator Munoz on very many things, but I got to say that, if you're going to put money, surplus money anywhere, it ought to be in human, I always say this on this show, human capital, investing in our kids. And I really do think that's what teachers are. I mean, they're working folks like everybody else, and most of them, and I'm biased, I happen to be married to an educator who was formerly an APS, now works for the state, but they do it because that's their chosen profession, right? So they're going to do it regardless of the money. But it shouldn't be a vow of poverty to be a teacher, especially a new teacher.
That's right.
And one of the things that came out in the press around this is how much our teaching population is aging, right? There just isn't this new sort of cohort of younger teachers. It's smaller and smaller. So if you want to have, you want to get people in college thinking about this, rather than saying, well, I love teaching, and I'm willing to work for $30,000 or $35,000 a year, or $40,000 now, that there's a possibility that I could actually support a family, especially, especially if you're two teacher families. I have friends who are two teacher families, and how they make it in this economy is just, I'm always shocked and super respectful of my friends who are, there's a lot of couples who are in teaching, right? They met in education and they're passionate about teaching.
That's right.
But they have to figure out how to get by on, $80,000 a year in a city like Santa Fe.
Right.
That's very, very hard,
Good point.
Even here in Albuquerque. So I think it's great. I agree with Tom. I think if you're going to put your money anywhere, this is the place to put it. And I hope that it will yield some real results as we look back, if it does happen in a few years, that we really start seeing some, smaller class sizes and the things that we all want to see,
Senator Snyder, I got a note from a friend that's a principal here in APS, and she made a good point. She said, there's going to be principals upside down here very quickly, meaning principals are not getting, teachers are actually sneaking up and principals are sort of staying the same. And other state employees are due for a raise as well, as we know. I mean, should those other employees get a bump as well at the same exact time, or should we just kind of chop at this one aspect at a time?
No, I think if we're going to do something with all this kind of money, I go along with Senator Griego. It should be in human resources with one caveat.
Okay.
We've got to have capital projects. We've got to have roads, but don't forget, our school buildings are falling apart too in many places.
Right. That's right.
When I was in the Senate, I had several schools, but I had two middle schools, and one of them every year would bring me in December and present a bill to me. And so and then they'd come to Santa Fe to visit. And I asked them one year, what, if you could have anything, what would you want? And I said, not pizza every day for lunch. And they said, we'd like to be able to wash our hands in our room. They were in the portable buildings. So I said, you find out what it will cost. You get the real numbers, and I will give you that money in capital outlay. Well, I did. Well, guess what? I got bombarded by APS lobbyists and leaders saying you can't do that. Well, first of all, I looked at them and said, you got to be kidding. I can do. Anyway, we got these are little kids. They need to wash their hands. So we have a lot of portable buildings, and that's just one example of capital.
Let me sneak Tom in here. We're just a little tight on time.
Yeah.
I appreciate that anecdote because that does make the point. And Tom, besides a pay increase, what other incentives can the state or even a local district provide to help recruit qualified teachers? What's out there to offset staffing losses?
Well, there's a variety of different things that districts could provide. A lot of it goes to community partnerships. I would just briefly like to kind of touch on the unintended consequence of increasing pay, which is definitely due. And that unintended consequence is that you're seeing the potential of government jobs seeing a huge increase in salary, which is great. But the unintended consequence is the impact it has on the workforce and for the private sector to try and be competitive. In the past, it was just the opposite, right? But now there you have that potential that the government jobs could be really kind of outpacing or outpricing some of those in the private sector. I just think that there needs to be a balance, and I hope
do we have that situation now, Tom? Because all the information I'm seeing is that teachers are going to the private side government people are going to the private side now because they can't get a competitive salary in government.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's I think research will support whichever argument you want to make.
Gotcha.
I'm just saying that right now, government is seeing the most influx of cash than the private sector. And maybe there's some catch up there, but I think it's just something to keep an eye out on. And that, we have to make sure that, there's an equal balance between government and private sector, that one doesn't get too far ahead of the other.
Good points there. Thanks again to our line panel. As always, this week, be sure to let us know what you think about any of the topics these guys covered on our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram pages.